And we are live. And we are live. And we are live. And we are sharing. Oh, somebody's already here. I was sitting here humming to myself and sharing shit. So feel free to share this with your friends. Share this with your enemies. Whoever you think might show up and, make it a good show. I'll do my part. They got to do their part. And I'm done sharing. Who the hell's here? Oh, it's Lux Lady Crystal. I just invited you. How the hell did you show up before I invited you? You're one of those people that crashes a fucking party, huh? It's all right. Ode to my coffee, how are you? Dawn, how are you? Antennas, yes, antennas. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's probably like 90 something, but here in the backyard we have so much fucking foliage. It's pretty fucking chill out here, man. So chill that it's hard to grow a whole lot in the backyard. I grow more in the side yard and the front yard, but I let it grow in the backyard because it's nice in the fucking summer when you got people over and stuff, man. The whole thing is shaded by good old Mother Nature. Sarah Bobera, how are you? Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft for a living. And I just launched my newest course or series, The Old Ways Revived. And it's on gumroad.com/witch school, which is the common spelling of witch school. I don't have to spell it out anymore. So get over there. Plantains pop up in the backyard. We have banana trees. They never get past being green. Almost look like plantains. But I have learned, I've been doing this with avocados when I get avocados for Marta. I put them in a bag with an apple. They ripen a day. And if I leave them for more than a day, well, then they're going to be overly fucking ripe. Because apples just do that. So this year, when the fucking bananas come, I want to put some of them green bananas in a bag with an apple and see if that fucking works. So far, they just, have not been edible. But apples give off this gas that ripens shit. So anything you need to ripen fast, put it in a fucking paper bag with an apple, and it'll ripen up real quick. So we'll check it out. We're gonna check it out with the fucking bananas. I mean, they're growing these huge bunches of bananas growing fucking everywhere that nobody can fucking eat. Maybe people have figured out. I have not figured out how to eat them yet, but I've never lived in a place where bananas grow. So It's new for me, so I got a lot to learn. Tanya Hilton, how are you? Encourage your viewers to share your live. I encourage you to share my live and invite your friends, invite your enemies. The more people we have here to ask questions about witchcraft, the more we will all learn. Okay. Angelique Love, how are you? All is well. Hopefully all is well with you. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood here in New Orleans. Dad Witch, how are you and the family? Hi, family. Hopefully the girls are there and stuff. It's a lovely day. It's 90 something, but here in the backyard it's probably 80 something. We have so much shade. It's so overgrown. Behind me over here, I don't even know if you can see, in the trees now, I have a curtain of vines. Whole fucking curtain. So it blocks the sun. A lot of shit won't grow back here because of it, but hopefully it won't be a problem in hurricane season. It won't catch too much wind, but you know, it's looking very green. Yes, yes, yes. Mother's Day, I had a dead snake in the front of my house. Mother nurtures. Ooh, it's a Mother's Day present. Witches always got, you know, use for a dead thing, especially, you know, a snake. Comes in handy. Wait. I don't know if you can hear it. Is that music? Not the birds. The calliopes in the distance. It's a steam organ. It's played on the riverboats out there on the Mississippi. And steam organ. It's played on the riverboats out there on the Mississippi. And sounds kind of spooky sometimes. I love me some calliope. Then not sold crow. Then, did I say it right? Then not sold crow. Yes, how are you? Hi. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. If you're not following, please follow. Share it with your friends, share it with your enemies. Share the live. Eliza Luigi's, how are you? Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. For those of you who don't know me, I teach witchcraft, and it's going on 50 years. I've been saying 45 years for like 5 years, so it must be about 50 years. I'll be 60 next, 2 months from now. 2 months. And I'm doing all right for 60. I don't know. Yes, definitely you're hearing some cardinals, all kinds of stuff. We have lots of cardinals. We just had our first batch of monarch caterpillars eat the milkweed in the front yard and then go off to make their chrysalises. So soon we'll have a bunch of new butterflies around here. Long live the king. Yes. And cardinals are, they say that cardinals are our ancestors returning. So I like that I have a lot of cardinals around, because I've got a lot of ancestors. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. So again, I teach witchcraft for a living, and that's what the fucking thing says. Let's learn some witchcraft. So you got some questions about witchcraft, you type in the thing. You could hop in a box. You gotta have a more extended conversation to have with me about it, but that's what I do, and it's community service. I get paid well for teaching witchcraft, but I also do my pro bono work, and this is one of the places where I do that. And it helps me keep my teaching muscles strong, and hopefully helps the community. My newest series has just launched the first episode of The Old Ways Revived, which you can find at gumroad.com/witch school, which is, of course, the common spelling of witch school, one word. And it is because of you people. More you people on TikTok than any other fucking place. Because in my 50 years of fucking teaching witchcraft and being involved in witchcraft, I have seen a whole lot of witchcraft that we all knew. Basics, a common fucking wisdom of our ancestors that we all knew, fade into obscurity because of people. Fade into obscurity because of people like you on fucking TikTok and other places spewing a bunch of crap that doesn't exist. I've never been 60 before. I hope it is interesting. It has been a fucking fascinating ride so far. And I have a philosophy that I developed based on a philosophy that you may have heard. But 3 paths met in the woods. And I chose the path that would make the better story. And that's made all the difference. Every turn on my path, I said, that path looks more interesting than that path. I'm gonna have more stories to tell if I take that path than if I take this fucking path. I'm gonna go down that fucking path, man. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it looks fucking dark and spooky. I'm gonna go down fucking there, man, and I'm gonna have stories to tell forever, because those of you that know me know that Uncle Birch teaches by story. Sometimes I'll be telling you a story and you won't even know that you're learning witchcraft till the story's fucking over. And then all of a sudden it's sunk past your defenses, into your subconscious, and it's there forever. And you'll never get rid of it. You cannot unknow something. Once you know something, you can never unknow it. You can spend the rest of your life shrieking in horror, wishing you never knew. Sounds like Robert Forrest poem. Yes, but I took it a different angle. He had 2 paths. See, I have 3. I had 3. I took that Robert Frost poem and I made it my bitch. That's right, I made it my own. Now you have responsibility. Yes, I am an anarchist, and the hallmark of anarchism, even though the Republicans tried to steal it a few years ago, is personal responsibility. If you don't like it, I don't want to hear you bitch about it. Fucking change it. Do something about it. Make it your own. Take personal responsibility. Samantha Michael, hello, how are you? It's like an old Utah Phillips story. He was working building railroads, and they would pick the cook for the road crew, or the railroad crew, not based on who could cook, but who complained the last time about the cooking. And that was Utah Phillips. He complained and says, all right, smart ass, you fucking do better. So they made him the cook. So he went out, he found himself a big moose turd. He made himself a pie crust, and he baked it up in this pie crust, sprinkled paprika over the top, made it a beautiful, beautiful pie. And this big, burly worker come in and take a big hunk and bite out of that pie. He said, my God, that's moose turd pie. Good though. So if you don't like it, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you bitch about it. Fucking change it. Take personal responsibility. DIY, man. Do it yourself. Do better. Cook better. Eat up, Buttercup. Absolutely. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. People keep coming on in. Zinfandel Tarot, how are you? How the hell are you? I don't think I know you, so if I don't know you, tell me where you're from. That kind of thing. If you want to talk about witchcraft, have any questions about witchcraft, type into the thing. I'm pretty good at reading the shit. Or you can request to hop in a box. Have a more extensive conversation. It is my community service to my community. I get paid well for teaching witchcraft, but I do plenty of pro bono work as well. All the fucking time. I can't stop. I won't stop. I am on Uncle Birch 8, I believe it is, which means that I lost at least 8 accounts on this bitch. I always ask people, if you don't like liver, why do you eat it every day? Absolutely. Actually, Mojo over here, he's been getting, I get him raw liver because it's rich in iron, and he had a problem, like kind of became anemic and almost died one time. Cost us, I think $9,000. He had to have blood transfusions for like 2 weeks and barely made any progress. But late in the process, apparently people bring in donor dogs to donate blood, and he got some fresh blood. My device is overheating. What? It's not that hot. Fuck you. He got some fresh donor blood, and that's when he turned the corner, and why Mojo is still with us to this day. Liver is good. I do gizzards and pickled pig feet. Okay, well, I don't want none of your cooking. Tonight I'm making manicotti. Got really good at manicotti. Oxtail gravy. I've got really into making my own pasta sauces of late. Aunt Marta is on this new diet, where she can't have any preservatives, which just fucks with me because I was eating mostly preservatives and shit. So I got really good at making pasta sauce, and I did see Goodfellas, but I don't have the patience or a razor blade to cut the garlic into really thin fucking pieces. So I take the garlic, I take the whole cloves, peel them and shit. Throw the cloves in with the tomatoes, and then take an immersion blender and liquefy the garlic into the fucking sauce, man. And it's epic. So much fucking garlic. Dumb and Tough, how are you? Dumb and Tough. Margaret, how are you? I got a witchcraft question. Well, good. That's why we're here. We're really not here to talk about manicotti, but I have to say something while I'm sitting here. Daddy Firefly, hey, how are you? Not working today, yay. What's your question, Zinfandel Tarot? Esoteric woman, hello. How come my spells work better for others than for myself? Oh, excellent question. It's because you are not clutching at the result. I recommend this thing for people, and I've said this on TikTok before. It's called the buddy system. Get yourself a witchcraft buddy, and you trade. Say, look, I'll do a spell for you. Fuck your restriction, okay? I did not smoke on camera. I'll do a spell for you, and then you do a spell for me. And those spells will work better than the spells that you do for yourself, because you are hung up on the results. You are clutching to them. You will not let them go. Failing that, you need to understand the 3 keys of magic: relaxation, concentration, and projection. Projection is the hardest fucking one. Projection means throw and let go. Throw and let go. For like my students always say, forget about it. Let it go. Those of you that partake in the herb, I always suggest a post-ritual bong hit afterwards. I hate TV, but I watch a lot of TV anyways. I just watch stuff that doesn't have commercials. But there's a mind-numbing quality that comes from watching a movie, watching TV, something like that, puts you into a self-hypnotic state. It's like, I do that after a spell. I want to let it go. Set it and forget it. Absolutely. A thing that I learned, I'm obsessed with witchcraft. So like 50 some odd years, fucking obsessed with fucking witchcraft. Everything I see, everything I learn, I'm immediately thinking, how can I use that in witchcraft? And when I went for my pastoral counseling certificate, I learned a thing in couples counseling therapy. Couples fighting, they've been fighting for hours. They're saying the same shit over and over again. Nobody's getting anywhere. Everybody's just hurting each other's feelings. It's going to go on forever, and it's really important not to go to bed angry. If you go to bed angry, that stuff that was in your short-term memory is now going to be in your long-term memory for a very long time, forever, or unless you get fucking therapy for it. So a way to let go of that is if one of you in the relationship could say, look, honey, we've been going at this for hours. We're not getting anywhere. It's actually getting worse. We're just hurting each other now. Can we set a date like Tuesday? Can we just sit down, have some coffee, talk about these things. You know, very mellow, because in the middle of the night, you're fucking raging and shit, man. It's been going on for fucking hours. If you can do that, your subconscious will let it go. So what I teach my students, what I just taught in the class today that I just posted at gumroad.com/witch school, WITCH, or no, I'm sorry, the common spelling, witch school, I changed it. I even put this in my newest class, The Old Ways Revived, Volume 1. You get a notebook, you write everything that you did in that spell, everything that you used, the mood that you were in. If you chanted in Greek, what did you chant in Greek? What was the phase of the moon? What was the position of the stars? Everything that you did. What was the incense you used, the oil you used, the candle, what color was it? Everything. And you look at that, slam that book in your face. That's a very powerful subconscious symbolic meaning. And you say to yourself, I will not look at this again until 3 moons have passed. Then you get on your smartphone, get on your calendar, you set a time for 3 months from that date to relook at that. When you do that, your subconscious lets go, because you have a date for resolution, just like in the couples counseling therapy. You have a date for resolution, so now you can let it go. It was so important for you to do a spell, it's hard to let it go. But if you've set, I'm going to close that, I'm going to look at it again in 3 fucking months, see what happens, see what the results of that spell were. I was the cause, we will see what the effect is in 3 months. Ginger Pirate Witch, how the hell are you? Arr, how the hell are you? Ginger Pirate Witch. Thank you for following me. Yeah, follow if you're not following. Hit the little bell thing so you get notification when I go live. I'm Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft for a living, and that's how I ended up in New Orleans. The place just sucked me in. It was like, I should be here or Salem. And I don't really like the vibe of the Mid-East people. I like New Orleans. So, yeah. Arr, matey. What is the result of buying a curse jar box? Burying in a curse jar box in a cemetery? Well, it can go, it can usually be very beneficial if you take the right steps. Upon entering the graveyard, you enter with respect. You leave 3 coins at the entrance for the person, the entities that run the graveyard. You should do divination on each grave, deciding which grave to take dirt from. And then most graveyards have these little water spigots in them. And a lot of people think that they're just for, for the flowers that people leave on graves. No, it's for washing your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. So, can go a lot of different ways. But also, scroll back and look at my other dirt. Because graveyard dirt is so passé. There's other dirts you can use. But graveyard dirt is fine too. But there's other stuff you can do. Thank you. All that advised me a lot of sense. Really down to it. Yes! That's what I'm shooting for. That's what I do. That's why I can't stop doing it. I shot that class today for The Old Ways Revived. And I dragged my feet. It took me like a long time. I kept saying I was going to shoot it, kept telling myself I wasn't ready, didn't have enough material, and I should just fucking know better by now. I don't need fucking material. I had several talking points written down, and I looked at the camera, and I just fucking started teaching witchcraft. And I was like, I'm a half hour into this fucking class, and I didn't even get to my talking points yet. I don't need them. Something about me, I'm a one-trick pony, man. I teach witchcraft. And you turn on a fucking camera, put me in front of it, and you're gonna learn some fucking witchcraft. I don't care what you think. You're gonna learn some shit. You're gonna learn some shit that other people didn't fucking teach you, and it's gonna spew out of me, and I'm not even gonna know that I fucking said it, but that's my way. Mama Wolf, how the hell are you? Dirt from a liquor store is good for money spot. Man, maybe. I mean, I'd want dirt from a bank. As I've said, if you have a lottery office in your town and you can collect some dirt, I will buy that from you. There's lots of different dirts, but most of the kids are all just hung up on graveyard dirt. I'm also a Polero, and in Palo, in the Ngonga, 121 dirts go into the Ngonga from a lot of those kind of places that I was talking about. There's a lot. The dirt has power. Think of where you're getting the dirt from. My parents' ashes are in the cemetery where I research spirits. They both know how to take their dirt. That's absolutely great, especially, you know, where you got family. That's absolutely great. Let me see if we have a lottery office here. Absolutely, man. I know we don't have one here, but we got an FBI office. They got some dirt from there. We have the last battle of the War of 1812. So again, if you scroll back to my videos, just a few videos back, I reposted other dirt where the last battle of 1812 was fought about a mile from here. And on the New Orleans line were the French, the Spanish, the Americans, freed slaves, and pirates. And they all fought along this rampart that I can just drive right up to. And that's that side of the rampart, anywhere there, is the dirt of winners. The winners of a battle, the winners of a war. The entire war ended here in New Orleans. 1814, took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. You've heard the song. And then over the ramparts is the loser dirt. So there's a purpose for loser dirt, and there's a purpose for victorious dirt. I took them both. Put the loser dirt on my enemy, put the fucking victorious dirt on myself. Lots of places you can use it. Yes, and the blood was shed in that dirt and everything. What power that has, both sides. Yes, yes. And I was working a side gig and just stumbled upon that fucking place. I didn't even know it was there. How we do? It's not that far either. What if it's all concrete? There's some dirt in between the concrete, I'm sure. Or, yeah, you could scrape up pieces of the concrete. I mean, back in the day, you know, before graveyard dirt was all the rage, when I was a kid, we were collecting graveyard dust off of the headstones. That was pretty powerful too. I never hear anybody talk about that these days. And there's also an epic oak tree right there on the side of Victory. So the acorns that I got from that oak tree, you know, a lot of Spanish moss hanging in that oak tree, and Spanish moss is the common filling for voodoo dolls and poppets here in the South. So of course, I made a few dolls out of that shit. Think outside the box. Don't just think about what everybody else did. Other stuff. Spanish moss, absolutely. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where we have reached the magic number 13 people. Woo! 13. Great number. Cool, man. I'll get some next weekend. Do you need a lot? Just as much as I can get. Just a small packet. Enough to cover a lottery ticket with. You know what I'm saying? Although I do recommend to people, as I just said, again, I'm going to try not to give too much of that class away, but it is one of the things I said too. One of the old ways that has been lost that people don't seem to know is magic follows the path of least resistance. When you play the main lottery, you're going to know that your odds are, 2 billion to 1. That's resistance. That lottery is going to be harder to work. You're going to have to do a hell of a spell, one I have not come up with yet, to win that lottery. However, scratchers have no resistance. Scratchers are pre-printed. Nobody's in competition with you for those numbers. One thing I did out here one time, is I needed some money. I always need some money, but I really need some money right then. And so I did a thing out here to piss off a bunch of witches. I believe it was Real Witches Don't Vote Republican, knowing that that would give me a lot of ire. And then there's a thing that I teach over there at gumroad.com/witch school, common spelling, called Magical Warfare Feeding on Your Enemies, which teaches you how to transmute any energy into an energy you want. So, in theory, if you can, hi Cuban things, if you can piss a bunch of people off, take their energy like a fucking psychic vampire, convert that energy into what you want, they do your spell work for you. And one of the times that I had a whole lot of enemies out here on TikTok and pissed them all off, went out and got me a scratcher, 10 grand. 10 grand. That's probably the most I won off a scratcher, but 10 grand. But scratchers have no path of resistance. There's nobody competing against you for a scratcher. When you play the main lottery, everybody that played that lottery is a path of resistance for you. Lamb Desire Fish, nice name. How are you, Uncle Birch? Coming to you live from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft, and that's what we've been doing so far, and I love that. It helps me keep my teaching muscle strong. People out here on the internet will ask stuff that I haven't thought of, even in my 50 some odd years. And it makes me have to go outside the box to find an answer for their questions. So hopefully it helps my community. I get some free teachings out there, even though I get paid for what I do. I also do my pro bono work. So if you got any questions about witchcraft, throw them up there. You'll be shocked if I don't have an answer. Or if you got more extensive conversation to have, you can request to get in a box and put you up here on the screen, and we can have us a little talk. I love the fact that people throw shade and you can make it rain. Salmons? Schmonies. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've done that a few times. The first time I did that was on YouTube. I had some bills I needed to pay. I threw up that same video, Real Witches Don't Vote Republican, and transmuted the energy, and bills got paid. Good afternoon, Zuki. How are you? Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And my dog's being an asshole. If you have, or if you would, what would you use a fern for to work with? I've used ferns for binding. There are certain ferns that kind of wrap around. They have this little coil thing that they do. It's a good binding one. Here in New Orleans, I mean, we've got a lot of ferns, but the vines, like half of the stuff up here is not even the trees, it's the vines that you're seeing in the background. So I use a lot of the local vines for like binding spells, that kind of thing. Good to see you. Beautiful day here as well. Good. Some ferns can be used for dyes. Yeah, I've heard that too. Ferns are good for abundance work. Ferns tend to grow without much trouble. An old spell that I learned was you get a clay pot and a silver coin, put 3 drops of blood, your blood, on the coin, and then bury it in the pot, and then put a plant on top. So what I used to use was a morning glory, because you can't stop the motherfuckers from growing. They're going to keep growing. They're going to reseed themselves. And they're going to grow. But ferns do that too. Any plant, even a weed, any plant that's just going to grow no matter what. It's a great spell for that. Just making my way. How are you? If I don't know you, I don't think I know you. Let me know where you're from. Maybe even what you practice. I'm Uncle Birch. I practice hybrid witchcraft that incorporates hoodoo, conjure, Italian folk magic, ceremonial magic, even chaos magic. The best and truest magics are not the traditional magics. They're the magics that incorporate everything that'll work. We have more in common than we have differences. Hoodoo Traditional hoodoo does not incorporate the moon, the planets, or the stars, which are all forces that have effect on our sphere here. And I've oft maintained that if they did, hoodoo would work better. And now I've said that a lot of times. Notice I said traditional hoodoo, because I just followed somebody, I forget what her name is right offhand, but she does that. She incorporated the moon and those things into her hoodoo. And I think as such, their hoodoo is going to be stronger. Raven here from Missouri, Death Witch. Oh, hey, wait, am I following you? Oh. Yes, I am. All right. Angel 196, how are you? Uncle Birch come to you live from New Orleans. Samantha, hello, how are you? I just started posting my latest series, The Old Ways Revived, and we can find that at gumroad.com/witch school, which is of course the common spelling witch school, one word. Especially being out here on the internet, in my 50 years of experience, I've seen a lot of the old ways lost. I've seen a lot of things that all practitioners, all witches once knew that now a lot of people don't know. And that's the basis of my practice, is remembering these things. And then I say these things and people go, whoa, I never heard that before. And I was like, well, literally, I'm just repeating what everybody knew when I was a kid. It's not that special. When you incorporate different things, it opens you up to many avenues. Yeah, because I'm here in New Orleans, and I remember a Polero was once talking shit about New Orleans. And he said, well, everything's just mixed together there, and the ancestors are confused. And I said to him, I said, do you think your ancestors are stupid? Ancestors ain't fucking confused. You're confused. You're confused. Ancestors ain't fucking confused. Here in New Orleans, you will not hear the words cultural appropriation. Matter of fact, the 3 times that I've ever heard those words, it came out of my mouth and the person on the other end looked at me like I was crazy. It's all been thrown in a fucking blender, and somebody hit puree a long time ago, and it all fucking works for us. I'll go to a ceremony, I'm with voodoo people, Santeria people, hoodoo people, fucking witchcraft people, ceremonial magic people, and it don't fucking matter, and nobody's worried about what fucking color your skin is. Except for the people at Crescent City Conjure, but that's why I don't fucking go there, because they're bigots. So, here in New Orleans, I don't recommend Crescent City Conjure. Especially because Crescent City Conjure is owned by a guy that says that white people can't practice hoodoo, even though my best friend taught him hoodoo, and he is a white Jew. Hoodoo Saint Moïse taught Ronaldo, the owner of Crescent City Conjure, hoodoo, and he's a white motherfucker. And I have a podcast where you hear him say that he didn't know shit till Hoodoo Saint Moïse taught him. Elegua 313, how are you? Oh wait, that's Lady Crystal. What are you talking about? 313. Queen Cheetah, how are you? Suki practices hoodoo. Right on. But yeah, so he's a black guy that practices hoodoo, that now says that white people can't practice hoodoo. I have it on a podcast where he admits that he didn't know shit and was an Alexandrian witch. The whitest motherfucking witchcraft probably there ever was. But Hoodoo Saint Moïse taught him witchcraft. And Hoodoo Saint Moïse, my dear departed best friend, I haven't called anybody a best friend in probably 30 years, not only taught him hoodoo, but bought his shop. But then, when Ronaldo, the owner of Crescent City Conjure, cheated on Hoodoo Saint Moïse with Ronaldo's Tata, which invalidates his initiations in Palo, it was too traumatic for my friend to fight over the shop, and he just let him keep it. He bought Crescent City Conjure for Ronaldo, or I don't even know what Ronaldo calls him fucking self anymore, and I won't give him any credit to say his fucking name, but he's a racist bigot now and says that white people can't practice hoodoo even though a white guy fucking taught him, and the white guy was my fucking best friend. Thank you for the hat mustache. That threw me off for a second. Spit. Yes, spit is powerful. Spit can be powerful magic. I grew up in punk rock, and we learned a long time ago, you well up some saliva right about here, and then speak your intent through the saliva, and then spit on a motherfucker. That thing in, oh wow, TikTok. Thank you. That thing in American Horror Story Coven, where the Supreme would spit in a cup of water and then have somebody drink the cup of water and then they would do whatever she told them to do. That's based on real witchcraft. And that spit magic's some serious shit. Especially if you're serving the drinks, you're serving the food, man. Just saying. I'm just saying. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft for a living, and we've been learning some witchcraft, haven't we? Haven't we? Come on, you learned some shit you didn't know already. You know you fucking did. You know you fucking did. And that's cool. I don't even need you to give me credit. You go teach somebody that later. I see it out of there on the internet. Like quite often, I'll see people teaching spells where somebody takes a lodestone and puts 3 drops of blood on it. And they could be using it for housing, for money, for whatever you have. But I know that's mine. That's mine. I'm the first person to put that out there on the fucking internet. But it should have been an idea that other people came up with, but nobody came up with it. And I'll see them teaching that on the internet, and I'll just go, right on. I'm not even going to say something. I'm not even going to say nothing to them. I'm not even going to try and claim credit, because I know, they know, the gods know. I put that in the universe, and now it's out there causing change in accordance with will. It's helping my fucking community. And originally, the first time I put that out there, that's a housing spell. You can find that on my YouTube channel, Spell to Get a Home. 3 drops of blood on a lodestone, planted in the front yard of where you want to go. We don't stop learning from the craft and each other. Absolutely. I've said it, a million times. Like, again, I've been teaching witchcraft for 50 years, and the best way to learn witchcraft is to teach. Because your students are going to ask stuff that you never thought of. You all out there on the internet are going to ask stuff that I never thought of. And my witch brain's going to come up with an answer. The lodestone home spell works great. Absolutely. I've got I'd have to say 95% success rate on the lodestone home spell, but I do not know of 5% that didn't work. Changing the community, that's what it's about. Yes, Male Witchy 6, how are you? I don't think I know you. Here, I'm gonna, oh, I guess I do. Looks like I'm following you. Okay, cool. Nice to catch you live. I'm good, how you doing? Beautiful day in New Orleans. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Nature keeps taking over my backyard. I got more shade here than I had last year. It complicates growing things, but it's nice when it gets butt hot. Is demonology and conjure the same? What are the differences? They are not the same. Conjure does not always work with demons. Conjure tends to be working with a lot of nature spirits, that kind of thing, and some demons can be nature spirits too. But they're not the same thing. One of the differences is with demonology, I gotta say this because I see so many kids getting ready to harm themselves out here on TikTok. Demonology requires a pact. For you to work with a demon, there has to be a written document, a magical legalese document between you and the demon, and you have to be paying them. You have to be willing, you have to be giving something up. And if that did not happen in your demonology, you did not do it right, and you did not work with a demon, or the demon is taking something from you that you didn't agree to. And one of the things that I just said in one of my classes, when you're doing that work, and you're finalizing your document, don't sign anything that you don't understand, and never sign anything with the words in perpetuity. Demons love that magical legalese word, especially because so many practitioners don't fully understand what it means. In perpetuity means forever. Forever. This life and future lives. And maybe even when you're done with physical incarnation, perpetuity still goes on. You'd be paying, you get something in this life, small prize, but you're going to be paying for it in perpetuity for many lives, forever. You'll be paying for that. You know, careful. You learn the legalese of demonology, because there's always a written pact involved, and you will be signing it in your blood. If that did not happen, you are not doing demonology. Sorry. Lots of people think they're doing fucking demonology. No. Somebody just followed me, but oh, Sequoia James. Hey, how are you? I'm okay. Oh, not following you. Now I am. You are welcome, Ginger Pirate. You're welcome, matey. Because you have no soul, you see, you gingers. I don't know if anyone remembers the kid from when South Park said gingers have no souls, but he made a career for himself off the internet responding to South Park, and eventually got a fucking reality show out of it. So more power to him, because I got Celtic blood. Wait, hold on. Celtic blood, so I work with the Morning again. Yes. Gingeritis. Well, I'm sure, if you're a ginger, I'm sure you remember all that shit. that Ginger Dave that they had, all that crap. And I think that kid's still going. I saw him recently. I don't think he's getting that much following. But literally, South Park actually covered him on South Park. They made a version of him and did his rants from YouTube on South Park. That was some good shit. Freighter Xolo, how are you? I'm not sure I know you, but I know me many a freighter. Have a great afternoon. Gonna get some rest. All right, get some rest. You got some plundering to do, matey. Wait, did I follow? Wait, I'm not sure if I followed Ginger Pirate back. Hold on. Pirate. Nope, I'm following Ginger Pirate. All right, cool. Wicked. Was it Wicked Broom? What was that? Wicked Bloom. How are ya? Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. We've been answering questions on witchcraft. If you got questions on witchcraft, throw it up here, or you can jump in the box if you have more extended conversation to have, and we'll put you on the screen. Tips for activating a high John root. I'm gonna soak it in water, maybe salt water. I'm gonna speak to the salt, what I want it to do, put it in there, soak the root. Then I'm gonna take the root out, knock on it 3 times, and then speak to it. And it's important that my breath, I'm speaking very breathy on the high John root, telling it what I want it to do, because high John root has so many purposes, and actually it comes from this geographical region. So I actually, thank you for reminding me, I need to get some high John seeds. Last year I grew high John, moonflower, and morning glory side by side, and they all come from the same family, and I wanted to see what the differences was between them. And a lot of commonalities, not a whole lot of differences, but of course, moonflower is going to probably work better at night. High John and Morning Glory work during the day. But even though it's from the same family, their seeds are very different. The plants, not so different. So that's what I'm going to do. Pretty new to all this. What's High John used for? High John's used for a lot of things. High John's used for protection, for extra power. It's really good in gambling. In hoodoo, it's used for just pretty much almost fucking anything. Thank you, great idea and information. Yeah, well, thank you. You're welcome. And in gambling, I'm gonna take it, and I literally have one in here. I'm gonna put it in my left pocket. The left side is the side of receiving, and this is one of those things that's probably going to come up in my class, The Old Ways Revived, which I just launched the first episode today at gumroad.com/witchschool, common spelling. It should be a link in there on my page there. But that's going to be something that I want. Whoops. I totally lost myself there. But that's going to be something probably coming up in future episodes. So you can substitute Morning Glory for High John. High John will do, Morning Glory will do a lot of the things that High John will do. They are from the same family, and then, so that's the thing. So I grew them side by side, and see, I'm not doing root work. I'm not doing herb magic. I'm doing wort cunning, and in wort cunning, we are communing with the plant at a deeper level than other magics. If it can be consumed, I consume it. If it can be smoked, I smoke it. If I can douse myself in it, I'm dousing myself in it. And I'm spending a lot of time meditating with the plant. And beyond that, I'm giving the plants my blood mixed with water. This is easier for women when they have their cycle. And actually, that blood is the best blood for plants. All your magical plants, you should be saving your pads or whatever you have, put them in a bottle, mix it up, feed your plants with it. You're creating a plant familiar by feeding the plant your blood, and menstrual blood is the most nutritious of bloods for plants. Hi, I'm kind of jumping in the middle of your live. What type of magic you normally practice? I believe that eclectic magic is the only real way to go. Traditions are too limited. So, I am practicing classical witchcraft with ceremonial magic overtones, bits of strega sprinkled in, and a healthy dose of chaos magic right in the middle. And then I'm throwing them in a blender and hitting puree. And you find the things that work. We as magical practitioners have more in common than we have differences. And we spend most of our time on differences and skin color and crap like that. I think there's a lot that hoodoo can learn from other magics, and other magics can learn from hoodoo. Likewise, I'm also a Polero. And in Palo is God, what's the fucking word now? An oral tradition, handed down mouth to ear. And witchcraft was once that way. Classical witchcraft was once that way. Nothing was ever written down. Matter of fact, back to the bards in Ireland, if you wrote down a story, you killed the story. And the story was the most important part about it. But during the times of persecution, witches eventually recognized that the entire crafts were being wiped off the planet, and all of their knowledge with them. And that's when they decided to start writing things down. The Book of Shadows was not created by Gerald Gardner. That's something that he found. The Book of Shadows came around in the 1300s. And the first inception we see of it is in Italy, the seat of the Catholic Church, where the witches were, almost wiped out at one point. And the reason it's called the Book of Shadows is to remind us of the dark times from which it came, when our ancestors had to write the craft down so it would not be lost forever. And as such, we see that the folly of oral traditions. They are lost. I work Palo, and I interact with other traditions. I find such variations and holes in the practices. That's because people weren't able to pass that down orally. There's too much going on in life to do that these days. Oral traditions die off, and it would behoove us to learn from other traditions. So the oral traditions should, would behoove them to learn from the traditions that tried to be oral traditions that almost had their traditions totally wiped out. They say memory is symbolic, and that's holding keys. Script is an attempt to contain memory. Absolutely. Well said. I'm not even going to add to that because that's very well said. Ley lines of tradition, yeah. This is why we're afraid of the written word. Yes. The people trying to kill us off didn't want us to be able to write. Not to mention the recalling of some spells too. Absolutely. I mean, God. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fucking TikTok, I have not been on that long. Why are you making me do 1, 2, 3, 4, you bitches? We've all seen the game of telephone. If one person whispers something into somebody's ear and you go around the room and each person whispers it in the next ear, when it finally arrives back to the original person, the story's not the same. There are things lost in the translation to each person. Each person loses something and changes something. And maybe that's good, but I don't think it is. We lose a lot. Recalling some spells too. Yeah, I want to write things down. Here, wait. I don't know Kristen, so I'm going to follow Kristen back. Kristen is, well, if she's authentic, I definitely got to follow her back. There we go. Zuki, wait a minute. Do I know Zuki? Yes, I am following Zuki. Okay. Not everyone can understand the same way. Not the same purpose. Absolutely. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft for a living, and that's what we've been doing here. We've been learning some witchcraft stuff that I think a lot of you didn't know, based on the response. I'm sure I could teach you stuff that you didn't know, and based on your questions, I may learn things that I didn't know. Because as soon as I get a question and I turn my head for it, my witch brain starts working, and wherever the fuck that comes from, it fucking comes. Even though I may not have known it before. And then I'll look it up. I remember one time I was on Candelo's Corner. I was the co-host on this Palo podcast. And somebody asked about making holy water. And I had had a few drinks, because I knew it was the last episode we were ever going to have, and I was sad that show was going to go away. And my drunk ass was like, you make holy water, and I'm spewing this shit off while part of my brain's going, Birch, shut the fuck up. What the fuck do you know about making holy water? Shut up, dude. I played it back, and then I looked it up, and I was right. Holy water comes from the Key of Solomon, the Greater Key of Solomon. The method for doing it to this day, oh God. The method for making holy water to this day that the Catholic Church uses comes straight from the Key of Solomon. Gardner's version of us blessing water on an altar is taken directly from the Greater Key of Solomon. We just aren't blessing it in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We're blessing it in the name of a goddess or something like that. You channeled that for sure that day. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Today I was teaching that class, the first episode of The Old Ways Revived, which you can now find on gumroad.com/witch school. I'm sure I've got a link in my little link tree thing there if you want to follow that over there. I was dragging my feet. I was thinking, I'm not ready. I don't have enough material on there. blah, 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 blah. I fucking should know better. I turn on the fucking camera, and before I fucking know it, I've taught a half an hour of fucking witchcraft that wasn't on the script. Wasn't on my fucking talking points. I was a half hour into it before I got to my fucking talking points, and I should know better. I should know. Just fucking turn on the camera, bitch. Something happens to you when you turn on the fucking camera and you cannot be stopped. You will teach the fucking witchcraft. Doesn't even matter if you knew it at the time. You're going to teach it. And you're going to look it up later, and sure enough, 9 times out of 10, I'm fucking right, man. That's what happens when you do something for 50 fucking years, man. You'll get there. Uncle Birch coming alive from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft for a living, and that's what we've been doing here today, and I love it. Keeps my teaching muscle strong. I have to mention it, but the most precious book I own is Witchfoot's book, talking about the written word. Yes, I have it myself. Witchfoot was quite a teacher. That's why there was a couple people that I talked Christian Day into having at WitchCon. Bree, Witchfoot, somebody else. I was looking forward to Witchfoot was definitely going to be back at WitchCon, and I'm really glad that a whole new audience got to see her, especially because that was going to be the last WitchCon for her. And I mean, I guess a lot of us saw the writing on the wall, but we were hoping that the writing wasn't accurate. Do you have suggestions for someone calling into their power to learn to believe in themselves? Yes. Beyond witchcraft, well, not even beyond witchcraft. Witchcraft is psychology. We are triggering unknown portions of our subconscious to cause change in accordance with will. So I married psychology and witchcraft a long time ago. You can watch a little bit of it here, but if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a series called Mind Control 101. And Mind Control 101 is teaching you how to control your mind. Once upon a time, this guy sitting in front of you was a scared little goth kid, even though goth didn't exist yet. I was OG. I was original goth. It was death rock. It was an offspring of punk at the time. Black clothes, eye makeup. And a lot of that was, a lot of my spookiness was to fucking keep people away from me. Because I was scared of them. Scared of fucking everybody. And I retrained myself with subliminal impressions and self-hypnosis because I had found myself at that time, at 13 years old, found myself in a position where I was going to be teaching witchcraft. I had to be able to stand up in front of people and speak. Oh shit. So I reprogrammed myself. I reprogrammed myself to the extent I went too far, clearly, because I reprogrammed myself so much that I can't fucking stop. I can't get off a fucking camera. I can't stop teaching witchcraft. I maybe went overboard, but you know, it worked out. So I just got a text message from my wife. I have to go bring her something really quick. So you stand by. Don't go anywhere. Okay, look at nature. I'll be right back. Come on, okay. Come on. All right. All right, hopefully that wasn't too long for you. Ah, see, a couple people are impatient, man. I tried in 2025, been a long year. I'm tired. 2025 been a long year. I feel you, man. I feel you. But old Native American story that I learned once upon a time that I find very beneficial, especially in tough times. There was a boy that went out. He went out on a hike on a reservation, Native American boy. And he saw a butterfly trying to emerge from its chrysalis. And he sat down and he watched, and it was long and it was painful, and the thing struggled, and the boy watched, and it finally came out. And so then the next time, hey Raven, the next time he saw this butterfly was struggling to come out of its chrysalis, took out his pocket knife and made a little slit in the chrysalis to make it easier for the butterfly to come out. And it was easier for the butterfly to come out. The butterfly came out and it flapped a few times, dropped to the ground, and died. Without struggle, there's no progress. That struggle that the butterfly goes through to come out of the chrysalis give it the strength for the life that it's going to have. The struggle that you have gone through in your life, the struggles, the pain, all of it, were necessary for you to be alive now. You have been trained your whole life for this moment, for these struggles that you are going through. And every amount of pain you've gone through, every amount of struggle, every amount of hardship that you've gone through was necessary to make you ready for this time. Without struggle, there's no progress. Saturn blesses us, absolutely. Sebastian the Infant. Is that the same? Yeah, I think that's you. No, true. Or Sebastian. All right. If I'm going to bring you up in a box, we got to talk about witchcraft, okay? All right. So if you want to come up in a box, we got the boxes over here. You can
we got to talk about what?
Extended discussion. Actually, I got to turn up my volume now that I got people in the box.
We got to talk about what?
Witchcraft, man. You see it's set up there. Let's learn some witchcraft. That's what we're doing.
Speaking of, I just got me some new witchcraft stuff. You want to see?
Some new witchcraft stuff to do.
Well, it's more so. It looks like an altar. Do you want to see it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why won't we see it? Is it because Uncle Birch taught you that it's not a good idea to show your fucking altar on the internet?
Yep, pretty much.
You said that before me.
Yep.
None of you said that. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Well, it's on my windowsill, but no.
Sometimes, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm bragging if it's true. All right. What kind of things did you get?
I'll show you. So it's turn the camera around.
We just had a discussion about not showing this. Doesn't fucking listen. Whoa, McFly.
I just showed you a brief. It's not enough to see it though.
I saw something. I'm not sure. Crow and Cairns, how are you?
You didn't get great detail, did you?
Right, that's like, wow, oh, when I see people show that online. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I always say, it's like, if you show me your altar, you show me your book of shadows, you show me your ritual tools, it doesn't matter if you have shields up. I can focus on that. I can do a spell on that picture of that thing, and it's inside your shields. There's no protection for you. You know, if I happen to have a wild hair at my ass, it would piss me off.
But good thing that's not actually my altar.
Bigger than just.
I don't actually have an altar set up, so.
Face palm on that. What's up, Freddie?
That's not. I don't have an altar set up, so that's good thing that's not my altar.
Decoys. That's a good one. I find that in a lot of I think Conjure came up with that before Hoodoo.
Okay.
a decoy doll of yourself. That's either your hair, your fingernails, that kind of thing, and you put up the decoy so on the spiritual plane it looks like it's you, and then you take the doll, shake it out every so often, throw some fucking holy water on it, bless it, smoke it, whatever you got to do. It's easier than doing that to yourself.
You know what this is?
That
Not a
is
wand.
a wand,
No, it's not a wand.
a candle,
Yep. Bullet kind.
black.
Yeah, it's a vampire candle.
It's a what?
Vampire candle.
What makes it a vampire candle?
My mate gave it to me, and he explains that it's more so it does like I don't know if it bleeds or something, or I forget what he said it does, but
So it's okay. Well, that's what we called in the old days a reversing candle. And
okay,
it's black on the outside and red on the inside.
yeah.
And I made some. It was like a skull candle. It was red on the inside, so like it burn it, and then it drips red on the outside. Yeah, but magically that was used for reversing a spell. Yeah, red on the inside. Yeah. So vampires didn't come up with that.
Okay. But I had me a scare today, or just a few moments ago. I had left me phone in an Uber, and they had to come over and drop it off. But
Well, what you need to do is make sure and tell Uber that you gave it back. I mean, I've done Lyft before. If somebody leaves their phone or something like that, and they get it back to them, I get $20.
I gave him 20 quid. I did a bank transfer.
Well, that's cool, but also Uber. Well, over here, Uber will pay $20 to you. So you can get $40.
Oh, to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That happens. I mean, I can't imagine that because my phone's everything. My phone has a wallet.
Yeah, my entire life's on it. So.
And my phone it's like a wallet case. So all of my ID, all of my cards, everything are attached to my phone. So I'm not going to forget my fucking phone.
The only way I was able to see it was not with me is because my Apple Watch was saying whenever I was trying to ping it, it was like, iPhone's not detected. I'm like, fuck!
As a matter of fact, I was giving somebody a ride one time in a Lyft, and they were going to a store where their iPhone was because somebody had picked their pocket on Bourbon Street the night before and apparently went to this shady store and sold the phone. And the people in the iPhone store charged up the phone, and so the phone appeared on Find My Phone. And they showed up with the fucking cops. And I was telling them, I said, okay, look. Well, they showed up, they called the cops. I said, okay, so look, you're going to need to wait around the corner because it's going to take like an hour for the cops to show up here in New Orleans. But don't go in there without the fucking cops, man. But your phone's there. Fucking go in there.
Here too. That's sort of similar here. It's like, also definitely true with the ambulance over here. It's like, yes, we get it free, but the take 8 hours for them, depending on severity, for an ambulance to get to you.
All right, so let's get back to topic over here.
Yes.
In the box, we're talking about witchcraft. These guys are rambling on over here. If you got a question about witchcraft, something to talk about with witchcraft, you could put it in the comment thing, or you could jump up in the box if you want more of an extended stuff. We have learned a lot of shit today that I think a lot of people out here didn't know at the time, and I've definitely got more. So,
what specific sign is your? What's the specific symbol is your pentagram?
Well, it's a pentacle.
The pentacle, yeah.
A physical pentagram. The pentagram is drawn, but it's a pentacle with moons on the tips.
Okay. I think I've asked you that before, haven't I? Because I've been trying to see about getting one myself.
Yeah. I mean, I find them out there. This is probably, a better model than some of the ones I've found out there, but I'm definitely a moon child, so I like to keep that. Josh, no, I don't know. Jumped out of there anyways. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I'm Uncle Birch. Been teaching witchcraft for about 50 years now. You got a question? Send it.
Hey, Uncle
Thank you
Birch.
so much. Oh, I love you back. Who that? Joshua, how are you?
Yeah, I'd like you to explain the more about basically, if you want something, you have to give something. Nothing's for free.
Yeah,
Because
well,
I've seen a lot of people they've argued with me about that in other comments. I said, well, you can't get nothing for free. And they said, well, that's a limited belief.
yeah. Well, the law of balance, that is a way to say it. We called it back in the day the law of exchange. Like the old fortune teller, cross my palms with silver. Then you get your. This is why I don't agree with doing readings for free. There needs to be an exchange. And so if
Exactly.
you're asking a spirit, a god, a goddess, even your ancestors to help you with something, offer them something. And offer that in the statement of intent for the spell. And they'll either accept it or they won't. But if you don't, they will take something you're not willing to give. And I said this in a video recently. You can do a money spell and don't make an offering, and you get in a car accident. And so what you've given up now is several months of your life in a hospital bed, but you get a settlement at the end of it. Or a relative dies and leaves you money. You didn't want the relative to die. So for you, nature will take something from you. It is best for you to be involved in that conversation and you to make the offer, or they will take something you're not willing to give up. Cause and effect, that is part of cause and effect, actually. Which cause and effect is something that we just talked about in The Old Ways Revived, Volume 1, which is now available at gumroad.com/witch school.
Do you know why so many New Age practitioners don't believe in that?
I know, and well, probably something that I'm going to cover in that series, something that I heard out here a few times, which was a holdover from the days of Wicca. You can't do magic for personal benefit. That was something that Wicca threw around, and I have always said, it's like, well, then that's the type of magic you're going to do and end up on Skid Row living in a fucking cardboard box. You absolutely can do magic for your own personal gain. Those ideas are ridiculous, and they're a recipe for poverty. Crow and Cairns, how are you?
I'm alright, Uncle Birch. How are you?
Beautiful day in the neighborhood, having a good old time.
Yeah, same over here. I think I think you're right, Joshua, right? A lot of the novices or the younglings or the new age practitioners come to the craft from selfish standpoints, as we all do for some reason or the other. Everybody's got a motivation for turning to the craft, right? But I don't think they are grasping the fact that just because you come to the craft with a selfish standpoint doesn't mean that the craft itself also doesn't have a selfish standpoint. You know what I mean?
Yes, the
Yeah.
spirits want something too.
Like these are the divine beings. Why are they not going to take something from you if you ask for something from them?
Well,
What's in it for them?
and if you do sacrifice, I mean, more times than not, gods, goddesses, spirits, ancestors want the same stuff. They want alcohol, tobacco, and sweets.
Mm-hmm.
I have not met a goddess that you can't get something for. You give them dark chocolate and roses. And it works on women too. That's why it works on a fucking goddess. Man. Red wine. Oh, you're in. You're in.
It's not even that difficult either, Uncle Birch. Like you know that yourself. If you're caught in a pinch and you need something like your own spit, pee, you know what I mean? Your urine, take a drop of your blood. Like, and I know a lot of people are like, oh no, don't do blood magic. Listen, I'm out here blood offering all the time, okay? I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But like, these are things that are valued to me. So I've got no issues giving them to my spirit team, specifically my ancestors, because it's their blood as much as what it is mine. You know what I mean? So if I'm giving them that in return for something, then I don't see what's wrong with that, you know?
Yeah,
And
Zuki right there, man. Plant something. Plant a plant in the name of whoever you asked for help, man. That's a good sacrifice right there, man. You know, probably where you are, I'd probably be thinking of like milk and honey. Probably be a good offering for a lot of things.
So have you guys heard of this? I don't know the guy's name, but he was talking about basically he was offered all this money and a free Harley Davidson, but he couldn't talk about fallen angels. So I don't know if what they were saying is they were fallen angels or where that was going.
Well, while I understand it, I also my witches are more studious on the Bible than most Christians. The Bible is a book written in metaphor. Everything is a symbol for something higher, and every character in the Bible is a planet. And the Lucifer's fall, Lucifer being Venus, was, in my view, a time when Lucifer went retrograde. That's what it would be with the fall. The planet's moving backwards from our perspective. And at one point in history, Lucifer went into retrograde in combination with a meteor storm of 72 meteors, and those were your fallen angels. It takes on a very different meaning, and the book is way more accurate when you put it back in its original context of symbolic language rather than literal.
Because I've always had an affinity for Belial.
Yeah, well, there's this other thing. This made it easy for a lot of witchcraft and other magical traditions to disguise themselves as Catholicism, because the Irish came up with this brilliant idea, and then it spread all through France and Germany. Let's convert the pagan gods into, the pagan gods into saints. Unfortunately, the goddesses didn't get such a deal. Most of the goddesses got converted into demons. And one notable exception would be Bridget. Bridget got to be a saint. The rituals of Saint Bridget are the same as the rituals for Bridget the goddess. You know, the pilgrimage to the hill of Tara, tying a piece of cloth over your clothes onto the hawthorn tree at the top, same holy day, same festival, that kind of thing. But then there's ones like Astaroth. Astaroth was Astarte. But Astarte still exists. You can work with Astarte, but Astaroth exists too. So it didn't work out exactly as they thought it would, because both of them exist. But a lot of gods got converted into saints, and very few goddesses got converted into saints. I gotta tell you, Joe Biden has just been diagnosed with a progressive form of cancer. We just got a news alert on my feed.
Yes.
I wish him well. I hang with demons chaperoned by their intelligence before. Demons are tricky. Their whole job is to be tricky.
Yeah, three I like the most.
Pan.
Three I like the most, although it sounds crazy, is Belial, Osmodeus, and Azazel. Those are the three I like to work with.
Classics.
Yeah, classics.
Got to pay, and like I don't know if you were here before, we were talking about it, was like, if you work with demons, there should be a pact. If you are not working with demons and there isn't a written agreement, then you are not working with demons, because they all require a pact. And when you're working with pacts, you've got to know magical legalese and avoid the words in perpetuity. They always love to throw that in there, and that means that you will get something in this life, but be paying for it for all of your lifetime, forever, in perpetuity. So seems like a good deal. Oh yeah, I'm going to get rich. Yeah, well, but you're going to be paying for it in the next life. We're not rich. In the next life after that, we're not rich. In the next life after that, in perpetuity, they love that shit. Got to be
So
careful.
much about
They
them
know
for
all the legalese, and we don't have good magical lawyers anymore. There was a movie that had that. There was a magical lawyer. Yeah, I forget what the hell that movie was called. Christian something. I'm going to bring this person in. I may regret it. We'll see.
I want to build on that with like when they pray for you, pray in Jesus' name. That I turn around and say, I rebuke that on you.
I used to say, I'll cast a spell for you.
I rebuke that what you have just tried to do to me.
Well, the
tell them
witches
what they're
that
doing
I
is
know
spell.
more about Christianity than most Christians.
Well, yeah, I was brought up Catholic too, so
Yeah. And I always had a hard on against the Catholic Church because they persecuted my ancestors all around the globe. But that idea that they came up with of converting the pagan gods into saints made it easy for lots of paganism to survive. In Ireland,
exactly.
a lot of paganism survives. In Italy, a lot of paganism survives. And look at the New Orleans voodoo. New Orleans voodoo is Catholicism. Santeria is Catholicism. And they're just working with the saints. They're not spending that much time on Jesus, not that much time on the Holy Spirit, but definitely Mary. And,
Yeah, I turn around and just say, I rebuke you from trying to bless me that, or trying to pray for me in that.
yeah,
Oh, see, I sit and think about that sometimes, right? Because I say things like you guys as well, or I'll try and educate them on like what spiritual grape is, right? And I'm sitting and I'm thinking, do we really need to do that though? Do we need to go to the lengths to profess that we rebuke or deny, when we are protected with our own teams in our own spaces, you know what I mean, and we're comfortable in our own path? Do we have to do that, or could we just be like, do you know what? Sure, because we know
I'm
that it's not
basically
going to
living in
reach
a blood
us,
red area for politics, so I gotta do it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, see, where I'm from, it's totally different, you know? So I get that. I get that.
Well, I'm in New Orleans, so we're a blue area surrounded by red. The rest of the state is red. I won't go to the rest of the state, but New Orleans is a very different animal.
Yeah, I'm basically in a blue dot, but there's a lot of that where I'm at.
But now I don't know. I
Liz
don't know
is
how
like, I
much this
just
gets
smile and
reported.
wave.
I don't know how much this gets reported outside of New Orleans, but the new pope, his roots are from New Orleans. His grandparents lived in New Orleans. His great grandparents lived in New Orleans. They lived in the Seventh Ward until they were black, and I think they were black, and there was a little bit of native involved there too. But they were in one of the poor areas, the Seventh Ward, which was taken over for a freeway that was built through here. Their house was taken over, so they did the Great Migration to Chicago happened. And so he was born in Chicago. His roots are here in New Orleans. All talking about.
When I did look up about the Pope, when he just finally got put in, I did pull up a few articles, and I'm up in Ohio.
Mhm.
So it's pretty much blood red there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They basically do become Florida 2.0 up here.
Well, see, I made a mistake once where I was able to see like orbs all the time. I was able to basically put my hands up, call the wind, right? It seemed like a normal thing to me. And I had a preacher walk into the convenience store I worked in. And a lady was there, and she said, "Can he pray for you?" And I said, "Sure." And he put his hands on me. And after he put my hands on me, I could not see the orbs anymore. I couldn't call the wind anymore.
Oh shit.
I mean, it was like he had sucked out what was me. And I've had to work for years to try to get it back.
Let's think about this, okay? Catholicism. You give over all of your power to the priest. You confess all of your sins to the priest. If I know how to convert energy, to transmute energy, I'm sure the Catholic Church knows how to do it because they have all of our books. They have all the real witchcraft books.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they do.
Think about the things that are sin, sexuality, those kind of things. The things that are absolutely going to come up in every human being, and you have to feel guilty about that and then turn their guilt over to the priesthood. That is a source of power. That is why the most powerful government on the face of the planet has always been the Catholic Church.
And that's basically the Roman Empire.
Yes. Yes.
So then what we could do, because I was a good Catholic girl, so I was Uncle Birch for 12 years, the very first 12 years of my life, just like most people, right?
Not a good
So what we
Catholic.
could do then is we could do a recall for our energy and drag it back to us then, right? So that they can't prosper off of our energy.
Oh, Jesus, it's prostate cancer. Biden's got fucking aggressive prostate cancer. Well, he lived speaking of Catholics, he lived a full life. That sucks. News alerts, my news alerts are going off.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Lizzie, we did that, sweetheart. We could absolutely, so yeah, so then getting everybody to do a recall would not make them poorer, but it would have an impact. I mean, that's just me thinking, that's just me being an activist. Don't worry about it.
Well, as an activist, I feel you.
You get it, it's good.
Most of my songs from the 90s are more appropriate today than when I wrote them. Some of them you can find in my feed.
Almost like you can tell the future, Uncle Birch. It's almost like you're a psychic.
Well, we thought that George W. Bush was the ultimate fascist. Now I look at him as some charming clown, a charming little clown from history.
He's just part of the plan.
Yeah, we didn't know what fascism was yet.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying your music videos, actually. I have
That's good
actually
Look it
been-
up.
like, you've got some really good songs. You know that? Like, you've got some really good songs, dude.
Thank you.
You're
I'll have to
welcome.
actually look it up. You're on like Spotify or something?
No, I keep meaning to do that. But you can find a lot of my songs on the YouTube channel under Just Kidding. But there's several that made it past the censors here on my feed on TikTok. You scroll back, several of my songs exist. Even the marijuana burn the flag song didn't get taken down. I'm shocked by that. They're just on this channel here. You just got to scroll back to my feed.
Okay, I'll take a look later.
And y'all, I'm gonna have to get going. I got to start making some pasta sauce, and it's about 2-3 hours of simmering that shit. But it's been great meeting those of you that I didn't know, and all of you that jumped in the boxes. Again, check me out at gumroad.com/witchschool. I have new stuff that just went up. There's a link in my bio. I think the little play thing next to my name takes you to my YouTube channel. If not, I'm Uncle Birch on YouTube.
Okay.
Uncle Birch something on Instagram. I'm Uncle Birch or Michael Carell on Facebook. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. I tend to go live on weekends around this time, so if you're not following, hit that follow, hit the little bell thing up there, you get a notification when I go live. And today has just been great. A lot of people, a lot of good questions, a lot of good discussion. No trolls, no haters. Fucking God bless it, man. Uncle
I
Birch.
appreciate the follow back too.
Yeah, I know.
Nah.
Following you.
I just haven't put too much up of the craft on mine
Yeah.
because I've just been doing
Thank you
other
for
random
having
stuff.
us.
Just finding my footing on this.
Okay, apparently I am already following you.
Yeah, you followed me right away.
Okay, right
So,
on.
all right.
I'm following Josh. Nope, not following Josh. Now I'm following Josh. I know I'm following Cruz and Cairns. We all. Blessed be to
All
y'all.
right.
Thanks for hopping in.
Blessed
Thank
be.
you.
See you next time.
Bye.
Till next time.
God is willing and the church don't rise. We'll see you next time.
Yep.